Hey, I'm ElusiveKev, welcome back to MotoGP 17 and the manager careers. We're headed to Austria. So in free practice round the Red Bull Ring, Vinales is at the top just ahead of Marcus by 2,000 of a second, and Rossi just for 33 thousandths of a second back, and then the Flying Finn just 22 thousandths of a second back in fourth. Then we got Dovi, Pedrosa, MacDonald down in seventh. Really did struggle in free practice on the medium tyres, no real grip with those tyres and just not hooking up a whole lot together. But he's ahead of Crutcho, Inoni and Narento, makes it through to qualifying 2, so let's see what he can do. So here goes MacDonald for his 2 qualifying efforts around this very tricky circuit. It's on the soft tyres, so we have some grip. Let's see if we can hook a whole of that together like what he was able to do in free practice. As you'll notice in the first and third sectors, MacDonald's quick. But then in the second and final sector, he's not that good at all. Especially the final sector, sometimes losing it like a second. Because you have that very fast right-handed in that last corner, which has not been very kind to MacDonald in the past. As he goes into the hairpin. Such a tough corner on a motorbike. Easy in a car, F1 car. Not on a motorbike. You'll see that time's around 20 seconds slower than an F1 car around this short circuit. And that's just the difference in, grip that an F1 car has. There's downforce as well. Because these bikes don't really have ringlets. And you have 2 tyres and a rider that is down. With MacDonald. Even though they can reach over 200 miles per hour in a straight line like an F1 car, that's the only real similarity there. That these bikes have incredible engines. And it's incredible what they do, what they have as well. And into the final 2 corners. Oh, easing it up. For another run down this front stretch onto his last qualifying effort here. So at 28.2 we can dismiss. This is one effort. It's gone back to one-shot qualifying, has it? It's gone wide in the first corner. That's cost a couple of tenths, especially as this sets up this long run to the second corner. He's lost the temp compared to his first lap. It takes that hairpin a bit better, much tighter line. And the bike didn't really jump up in the air as you saw at the apex. His first lap. As here goes Jack Miller with 24.6. Then Pedrosa 23.5. That's more like it. That's more like the lap times that and all set in free practice. And then see he's up ahead of Pedrosa by a quarter of a second. But here comes Vinales, the big guns, 23.1. Not sure MacDonald's got a low 23 in him, but we will see. As we head into the final sector. Look at that, 3 tenths up. Now the final corner. He survives. Gets hard on the power. Oh, he does have a low 23 flat from MacDonald. Where's he pulled that out from? As he only lost a couple of tenths of a second in that final sector. And that is good enough for the front row alongside Vinales, who grabs pole, a vital pole for his championship if he wants to retain his title. 31 thousandths of a second ahead of MacDonald, who's around 12 thousandths of a second ahead of Marc Marquez. Then we've got the Flying Finn leading a second ahead of Rossi and Pedrosa. Then Crutcho leads... No, Dovi leads Crutcho and Sarko. And then you got Inoni leading the 4th ahead of Lorenzo. And Jack Miller on the Mark VDS Honda. Fantastic stuff from the Australian. But let's see if MacDonald can hopefully survive the race. As here we look at the grid with Elusive in 2nd and 4th. And you got the Hondas, the line of Stone 3rd and 6th. And there's Jack Miller in the top 12. Very rare to see that, but fantastic. Ahead of Scott Radin, Folgum, Bass. And you've got Petrucci, Spargo, Rain. Spargo down in 17th. Then you got Baptiste and Brown in 7/8 row, and on the special row is Sam Lowe's.
All on the grid now, ready for the Austrian Grand Prix. In just a few moments, the lights will go out and they'll be away at this historic Red Bull Ring.
And there is the run towards the first corner. Let's hope MacDonald gets the jump here. As the lights appear. And go out for this 7-lap race. You've got a pretty good jump compared to Marquez and Vinales. He leads into the first corner. Goes slightly wide. And almost loses the bike on the curb. That's allowed the Hondas. And then the Yamahas by. Line astern, it's Noah's Ark in front. So you head towards the hairpin. Oh, and here comes this at Zarco. It is. And very messy hairpin, and look at Zarco go up into second. Have they patched this since I last played it? They got real life Zarco in it, as all his teammates down for Olga. And they had a Tech 3. And Zarco leads ahead of Vinales and Rossi. MacDonald in the 4th Yamaha. In the top 4. Takes to the grass. Eases Vinales out, goes around the outside of Zarco while Rossi went down the inside. And now into the fast left-hander. MacDonald goes for the lead. Clips Rossi though. It's allowed Zarco around the outside. Well, he's holding off Vinales, heading towards the penultimate corner of the lap. And now this infamous final corner. There was a little bump and his teammate clashes with MacDonald as he goes down the inside of Vinales. Crazy battling on this opening lap. As you go into the second lap, Vinales down the inside of the Flying Finn. On the outside of MacDonald, he takes third. With Marquez up to 4th, head of Vinales now. But it is Rossi leading Zarco on this second lap. And maybe it will calm down now as Zarco gets his rear tyre smoking. And MacDonald's made an interesting choice for tyres this race. It's not the same compound in each wheel. He's got a medium rear and a soft front. Because as you can see, he's lighting up that rear tyre all the time out the traction zones. And there's lots of traction zones for a motorbike round here. There's Vinales, Marquez and the Flying Finn are battling behind. Well, MacDonald's battling with Zarco for second. And eases it down the inside. That's what he's meant to do on Rossi on the opening lap. But he does it on this second lap. And now he's just got the Doctor in front of him. As he's fighting for traction out of that right hand. And now into the final couple of corners on the lap. Defending the inside from Zarco. Oh, but the Frenchman, he wants to take a bite. And you see cautious into that final corner. MacDonald drops position to Zarco, but he'll take this third. With Rossi and Zarco in front. Not his main title role. He did the fastest out that previous lap, 24.2. Digging down the inside, the Frenchman in the first corner takes it. Second. With Vinales ahead of Marquez for 5th. Got the Flying Finn in 4th. So we've got the Works Yamaha of Rossi in the lead. Then we've got the Elusive Yamaha in 2nd of MacDonald as he now smokes it. Now the hairpin. Then we've got the Tech 3 Yamaha of Zarco in 3rd. Oh, he's down to 5th. We've got the Flying Finn in 3rd, I think. Or was it Marquez? Got Vinales up to 4th. Oh, it is Marquez. And he's brought the Flying Finn with him. As MacDonald does some grass cutting. Not what we meant to do around here. And now Vinales up to 4th. We've got a crazy battle behind. Changing places every corner. Vinales up to 3rd. Had the Flying Finn. Still wants it all Yamahas on the podium. The top 4. There goes MacDonald out of the final corner. He still holds on to 2nd, just ahead of his teammate. As he goes on to the 4th lap, Rossi with over a 2nd lead ahead of this madness. Well, slightly wide in the first corner. Well, he's worrying about what's happening behind. It looks like the Flying Finn's dived down the inside of Vinales. He's lost places not just to him, but to Marquez as well. And now he's gaining on Rossi, is MacDonald. Because once again the Italian spins up that rear wheel. Now with the hairpin, Vinales up to 4th ahead of Marcus, who are around halfway through this race. This isn't quite the order we expected. Looks like Zarco's cameo is over, dropping out the top 5 as Marcus back past Vinales. Now here comes MacDonald really attacking Rossi and takes the lead. He finds a gap. Oh, the Italian doesn't really leave a gap. No, MacDonald found one. And now can he even pull away in the lead in Austria? It's bogey track. You'd have expected this, especially after 3 practice where he's struggling lots with the medium tyres. But he's got that medium rear. So we'll see if that comes into play in these final few laps. It looks like he's not wearing a lot. Nor did a fast at 23.5. Looking down the inside of Rossi into the first corner. And takes back that lead from the Italian. Got the flying fin in third, around a second back. But it's Rossi versus MacDonald. I haven't said that a lot in the MotoGP years. But we're finally getting it. Between the Italian legend. Maybe the Scottish legend as well. As he gets out the hairpin, that's where Rossi struggles. He's seen smoking up the rear tyre. With this medium rear. Hopefully help MacDonald with the tyre wear at this part of the race. So you can see the tyres really have coming in these middle laps. MacDonald really has got into a rhythm as well around this circuit. Very difficult to do that. I admit this is my worst circuit on this game by a country mile. But it looks like MacDonald's in sync with his Yamaha. He hasn't said that a lot around Austria during his career. Being in sync. The front tyre's wearing quite a lot though. As he head onto the penultimate lap, he's got over a second lead on Rossi though. Again, taking that final corner very cautiously. So here we go. Just 2 laps to go for MacDonald. Before this race, he started off Bruno. Second half of the season very well. Got that gap on the flying fin. It's this circuit where he perhaps expected that lead to be eaten into by the fin. But it looks like he's going to extend it. He's still got Rossi on his tail though. It's not over until the checkered flag waves this race. As we especially saw in the first half of this race. Mental battling. Behind between Vinales, Marcus and the flying fin as MacDonald goes wide. Rossi takes a little look. But not close enough to make a move. They go down the hill. So got a flying fin in third though. Another double podium for Elusive. Very good for the team's championship. But they're just running away with it. Let's see MacDonald short shifting now. Saved that rear tyre. Saved that front tyre it looks like. Not much left of it at all. So here we go through the final corner. On the penultimate lap. Now just 1 lap to go for MacDonald. He's got virtually no front tyre. Got around quarter of the rear tyre left. And he's got Rossi right on his tail. As he gets a good first corner. Kind of hits that apex. What's happening with Vinales and Marcus? They're still battling like a hell. Seems to have calmed down behind the front two. So again, going a bit wide into that hairpin, but that's the line. Get some good traction out of it. Let's get down the second into this right-hander. There is Rossi. MacDonald gone wide and Rossi retakes the lead on this final lap. But then MacDonald takes it back into the left-hander. The flying fin not far behind Rossi either. Around half a second. There we go, out of the right. Short shifting. Just 2 corners to go for MacDonald. and a race victory in Austria. But he's got Rossi right in his tail. Goes very slow in the final corner, and Rossi's stolen it in the final corner. But second for MacDonald is still very good championship points as he extends his lead ahead of the Flying Finn. He did the fastest lap, but he loses the race victory by less than 2 tenths of a second to the Italian veteran, with the Flying Finn completing an all Yamaha podium in third, a double elusive podium as well. Great stuff again, with Vinales in fourth, making it 4 Yamahas in the top 4. Then Marquez in fifth, Lorenzo in sixth. He came from nowhere, ahead of Pedrosa. Zarco in eighth after that cameo in the first half of the race. Good finish for the Frenchman. Iannone ninth, Dovi rounding out the top 10. There was Scott Redding, Jack Miller in 12th, Losbaz 13th, Alex Rins 14th, and Bradley Smith. A KTM has scored a point. Praise the gods in the home race as well for the Austrian manufacturer. Fantastic from Bradley Smith, ahead with Summit Paul Spargo with 27 thousandths of a second, as looking further down outside the points is Jonas Folger, Petrucci in 21st, Crutcho in 22nd, Espargo in 23rd, Baptista in 24th. Somehow Sam Rose is still last though on the Aprilia, but what a race for KTM. They finally scored a point. So in the championship, MacDonald has a very solid lead of 43 points ahead of the Flying Finn, with Marquez in third, 74 points back, almost 3 race wins behind the Scot, with Rossi up to fourth ahead of his teammate Vinales. Thanks to that victory, with Dovi in 6th, Quattro 7th, Pedrosa 8th, Zarco up to 9th, ahead of Lorenzo. Petrucci dropping out the top 10, then running up to 13th, ahead of Alicia Spargo. And there it is for KTM. Bradley Smith with a point is 20th in the championship, ahead of Hector Barber, Tito Rabat, and Sam Rose now has the wooden spoon. As in the constructors' standings, it's Yamaha by 106 points ahead of Honda, with Ducati in third, almost half the points of Yamaha, with Suzuki in fourth, Aprilia fifth, and KTM with a Sochi point in sixth. And in the team rankings, Elusive, they lead by 120 points ahead of the factory Yamaha team. That's virtually 3 races ahead. Off the top of my head, you get 45 points is the maximum, so 90, 135, almost 3 races ahead of the factory Yamaha team. What a season for Elusive, with Honda in third, Ducati 4th, Pramac in 5th, 6 points ahead of Tech 3, with LCR 7th, Suzuki 8th, Grassini 9th, Mark VDS 10th, Avintia 11th, Aspar 12th, and the factory KTM effort still in last, but now with a point on the board. So yeah, there's a pretty happy MacDonald. Solid points, but always gut-wrenching to lose a victory in the final corners. Yeah, what could I do in that final corner? The eyes look a bit crazy there as well, but I'm sure the clones will celebrate tonight after getting another double podium in MotoGP, in Moto2 and Moto3, as well as there's a 1-2 in Moto3, with the Swede winning from pole, leads in the championship, and Alejandro started third, finished second, is second in the championship. In Moto2, there's another win for the Portuguese rider, started second, finished in first, smashed his race objective, and is now third in the championship. Oh no, Andrea got another podium, started 31st, finishing third, and leads that championship. And MacDonald leads in MotoGP ahead of the Flying Finn, as they got second and third, another double podium for the pair. And the Swede has improved his photo management, so has Alejandro, and so has Andrea. He's also improved his cornering, and for the Portuguese rider, he's improved his braking, cornering, and body position. And that's a decent amount of credits and reputation. So we end the episode with an activity day. You do a marketing campaign, get extra credit bonus for the next race you choose once ejected 100%. Do some muscle building with the coach, improve the rider's throttle control ability for the next race by 20%. Photo shoot, get 15,000 credits. Autograph session, get 525 reputation. Well, it's obviously going to be the muscle building. As I believe when we look at the garage, we've had another part developed for KTM. We have. So what else can we develop for the bike? Well, we can do the frame once again, or the suspension. These both improved the handling I believe. Let's go with the frame. So it takes 7 weeks to develop. Got 2 weeks on the engine, 5 weeks on the brake. I should have said brakes. There's more than one brake on a motorbike. But next time out, MacDonald will be heading home to the Silverstone Circuit in the British Grand Prix. Can he maintain this solid form of getting podiums in virtually every race this season? Just maintain this lead over the Flying Finn. And in Moto2 and Moto3, can our riders just continue winning and leading their championships? Find out next time. So, thanks for watching. I'll see you then.